Joining me is Chris Gamache, who's the New Hampshire Director of Trails. Chris, let's talk about the maintenance of trails.
Absolutely.
I mean, what 7,000 miles, is that memory?
In excess of, yep.
All right. How does anybody manage to maintain that sort of network? And it's not easy, it's roughly used. I mean, biking, ATV, snowmobiles, trees falling.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely impacts to the trails from every user group. Maintenance, it is in the state. The state couldn't handle it on its own. So it's the volunteer army that is out there from a lot of these volunteer clubs and folks that are passionate about their trails. They do the vast majority of the work. We help coordinate it and do a bunch with our staff, but it's volunteers.
So how many clubs are there? I mean, do you have a feel for how many people volunteer? How many man hours go into the maintenance each year?
Oh, on the snowmobile side of it, you're talking 100,000 hours plus. You know, there's 110 snowmobile clubs. There's about 20 OHRV clubs around the state. Then when you get into the hiking, the mountain biking, sled dog, equestrian, there's 200 to 300 different volunteer organizations around the state that are doing work. And it's the money and time is almost impossible to calculate.
So, I mean, really, if it wasn't for the group of volunteers, this network wouldn't be possible to be maintained.
Oh, it absolutely would not be available for people to use at all.
And what sort of work do they do?
Oh, it could be anything from, just raking leaves out of a culvert, cleaning out a water bar, trimming trees that have fallen down or that are leaning into a trail, repairing the stone steps on hiking trails, to running heavy equipment and building, large bridges to handle snow groomers.
I mean, what do you mean by large bridges?
Oh, these could be 60 to 100 foot long bridges, with 4 foot tall steel I-beam supports underneath.
This is really feats of engineering here.
Oh, it is. Not a lot. There have been folks in the past that equate, trail building to the building small roads. So you are doing some of that. You're building that path through the woods, and you've got to have a structure that's going to handle the heaviest item. And in the snowmobile world, you're talking, 12 to 14,000 pound pieces of equipment.
Wow. So, I mean, it's quite complicated.
It is.
How do you coordinate all of that? How do you prioritize? How do you coordinate? Do you just decentralize it?
Well, a lot of it is a complicated dance of organized chaos is the best way to do
Okay.
it. It's managing by priority and by what the issue is for the day. So the best laid plans never work. You always shuffle to what the highest priority or the largest amount of work and damage to be repaired is. The environment has a huge impact. Tropical Storm Irene a number of years ago required millions of dollars worth of repair for trails to be done, and some of them are still being worked on today. So it's a priority base that changes every day. So
actually, I as you talked about that, I wanted to focus more on Irene. And millions of dollars in work that had to be done?
Yep.
Now that didn't come out really out of the state's budget at all.
No, some of it did come out of ours, our snowmobile and OHRV registration programs and grants. To fix those trails, we partnered with the White Mountain National Forest on a cost share agreement with some federal funds that they gave us so that we would go fix those trails for them. Mm-hmm. And they're still working with federal funds and then donations to fix hiking trails.
So, I mean, of the millions, is it mostly federal, state, 80% or 60%?
It's probably a 60-40. The largest impact in the state seemed to be in that White Mountain National Forest area. So we had other areas that were damaged, but mostly on the periphery. But the central part of New Hampshire and the White Mountain National Forest area really took the brunt of that storm.
And, beside maintenance of the trails, what about adding to trails? I mean, I noticed the rail network between Boscawen and Lebanon, or Concord and Lebanon.
Yep.
That just really came on the market, or available, finished.
Yeah, the attention to it. We've been managing that and maintaining it since the early mid-90s, predominantly as a snowmobile corridor, and then there was some summer use. But it's been probably the last 10 years. The focus has really been from the summer users, the bicyclists, the walkers, that really wanted to connect their communities, and a lot of those volunteer groups came out to improve that surface for summer use.
So, well, we're getting close to being out of time in this segment.